Good morning. It's Monday. So, are you ready? What are you doing this week? What are we accomplishing this week? What are you going after? So, I was talking to my buddy Chris Dakin. He watches these videos often. And if you don't follow Chris, he goes and fishes in Yellow Creek in the Pecatonica River and catches these giant fish. He catches huge walleye, 7-8 pound walleye. He catches northern. He catches all of these giant fish. Now, for those of you who are not from this area, the Yellow Creek and the Pecatonica River, the river really is more of a creek. It's barely a river. They're shallow, they're muddy, they're not really great bodies of water. They're the type of water that if you were fishing in, you would look at it and say, well, I'm going to catch carp and I'm going to catch some bullhead, and that's about all I'm going to catch. And Chris is catching these giant fish that you would catch up in Wisconsin and Minnesota in big, deep lakes. I mean, normally if you wanted to catch a walleye or a northern, you're going to a lake up in Canada that's, Lake of the Woods. It's super deep, it's cold. That's the type of water that those fish are in. And here he is pulling these huge fish out of this little muddy, yucky little creek. And so I asked him, I said, how the hell are you catching those fish in that body of water? And he said to me, well, if you want to catch big fish, you got to fish for big fish. Yeah? How do you do that? Well, he said, first of all, my bait. I use for bait what most people would be trying to fish for out of that creek. I'm using big bluegill that you could actually eat. And I'm using this lure, and I'm using this bobber, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Genius. If you want to catch big fish, you got to fish for big fish. So what area of your life are you wanting to catch an 8-pound walleye or a 30-inch northern, but you're fishing for a bluegill? When we don't set out with our intention, then we get what we get. How did he create that result? How does he catching fish that shouldn't be in those bodies of water, but he is? Number one, he knows his outcome. He's setting out specifically to do something. I'm not fishing for little fish. I'm fishing for big fish. So he starts out by using the type of fish that normally you'd be trying to catch. Number two, he does specific things. He knew what he wanted. He takes massive action. And what do you know? He produces a result that he shouldn't be able to produce. The impossible becomes possible. That's how you create any outcome that you want in your life. If you're not creating the financial return that you want in your life, you're not setting out to do that. If you're not creating the body that you want to have in your life, you're not setting out to do that. The people that are successful set out to be successful. They say, I'm going to create this result. When we do the UPW program for Tony Robbins, on day 2, there's this guy named Joseph McClendon III, who's amazing. If you've never seen him speak, look him up on Instagram. He talks all the time. And when he's teaching the ultimate success formula, he plays Simon Says. And the reason that he plays Simon Says is to show this particular thing. At the end, out of 15,000 people, there might be 30 that actually get past about the 4th Simon Says and make it up to the stage. And when he asks them, how'd you do that? They say, well, I decided I was going to win. And then he asks everybody else in the stadium, literally there'll be 15,000 people. How many of you set out to win? None of them will raise their hand. So even though there was 15,000 people, you weren't competing with 15,000 people if you set out to win. You were competing with 30. Because only 30 set their intention to actually win the game. Everybody else was just playing just to play. So when you set that intention, looking for that specific result, I don't care what this body of water looks like, I'm going to catch myself an 8-pound walleye. That was the intent. And then what do you know? He manifests the result. By taking significant action. I didn't ask him this question. This would be a good one to ask him. I'll bet you that he modeled somebody who had done it before. He certainly knew what it takes to catch those fish in any body of water, no matter what. And so that's what he went after and did. Go after a specific result. The goals need to be specific. What is it that you want? And be specific about that. Start with the end in mind. And if you don't start out to win, if you don't start out to catch the big fish, if you want to catch the big fish, then you got to fish for big fish. Genius. Have an awesome day. What are you doing this week? Set out your intention, make it specific, and go after something bigger. Don't sit there and try to and hope to catch an 8-pound walleye fishing for a tiny bullhead. Go fish for an 8-pound walleye. Have a great day, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other. Thanks for watching.